On this episode of The Outdoorsman, I get redemption in Ohio after not filling my tag last year during one of the hardest times of the year to kill a whitetail buck, the October lull. So stay tuned, and we hope you enjoy. So last year, I really wanted to start hunting out of state, and a buddy of mine I worked with at the time linked me up with the Cincinnati, Ohio Public Parks hunting program. Now, how this program works is you get to pick a specific zone, and then you get a specific time period that lasts 2 weeks that you get to hunt. And then you have all the way up until the season opens to do your scouting. Well, I worked my butt off last year between all the scouting and hunting over at the Cincinnati, Ohio Public Parks. But by the end of my session, I had not filled my tag. Well, after we got back from the ATA show, I ran into one of my good friends from high school, and we started talking about my season. Long story short, he informed me that his parents had just got land over in Ohio, and I gained permission to hunt it. So it was back to work. But even after all my efforts, the season came to a close in late February, and I still had not filled my Ohio tag. Well, my first task at hand in the off season was seeing if I had permission to come back next year, which they said I could. So when July arrived, I went to work. Thankfully enough, Ohio is one of those states that allow baiting on private property, so Corn and Minerals went out with a trail camera. Then it was time to come up with a game plan. I really wanted to fill my tag early this year in Ohio so that I could focus on Kentucky during the rut and not have to come back into Ohio hunting heavily pressured deer once all the firearm seasons closed out. But Ohio's season opens up a month later than Kentucky, so by the time I would get in there during late September, the October lull would be very, very close, if not in full effect, and the acorns would be falling very soon. And I can't hunt oaks on the property that I'm hunting because the oaks are right up against the house, not to mention there's oaks all over the place in the area that I'm hunting because the property I hunt butts up to about 3,000 acres of hardwoods. So focusing on acorns was not the thing to do. Instead, I turned my attention to the creek line where I hunted last year. Creek lines are Mother Nature's natural highway through the woods for all the critters that call the forest their home. Now, as we get into rut, you can generally see bucks cruising these creek lines and find scrapes and rubs all along their trails. So my thought process was, as we got into late October, if we had the right conditions with a weather front, there was a good chance we could catch a buck breaking that October lull pattern and getting into pre-rut cruising up and down that creek line. Good morning, everybody. Today it is October 17th, and this morning I am back in Ohio in my little tree stand overlooking a creek bottom at Grants Ridge. Got in here really good this morning. All is well. It is very, very quiet right now. You can just literally hear leaves dropping all over the forest floor. Conditions today for mid-October are pristine. It is 35 degrees right now. We had a frost advisory and there was frost all over my truck this morning when I got in it. It's absolutely beautiful. The leaves are changing colors. They're falling. We're getting into that, we're getting out of that October lull and kind of getting very, very close to that pre-rut. And generally when you get these fronts like this, these cold fronts, it'll get these bucks up and moving a little bit more and get them a little more active. What I generally see during the October lull is when I have bucks moving at about 2 a.m. to about 6 a.m. When we get a major cold front like this, their activity seems to switch to about like 7:30 a.m. to like 9:30, 11:30 a.m. So they move out later in the morning as compared to the evening, especially in these hardwoods like this. Sounds like we got something moving in behind us. And there's a lot of movement starting to happen right now just since I started this dog scene, so I don't know, maybe we'll actually get it done this morning. Guys, stay tuned and I will check in with you when we're seeing some deer. I'm pretty sure he is toast. We have had zero daylight pictures of bucks since freaking August. And that was the first buck I got on camera here, was that 8-pointer. Another buck showed up, I've never even seen them. I had to shoot, I moved the camera up to show you guys the other buck making the scrape. And he was about to go. I gotta check this footage real quick. We're gonna walk down here. Went ahead and got out of the stand. I got the landowner, his son, who I'm friends with, is gonna come down here and help me drag him out. I think I'm gonna have him hold this camera for us while we track this deer. But that was a crazy hunt this morning. I've never had an October lull hunt quite like that one, that's for sure. Redemption, baby. This feels so good. I worked my butt off last year hunting in Ohio. That's what hard work will do. That's why you got to stay on it, folks, because right there, it just doesn't get any better than that. Second hunt in Ohio this year. One thing I've learned in it, and this morning proved that factor right. If you're hunting the October lull, you have got to pay attention to when you're getting trail cam pictures of those bucks. If you're getting pictures of them at like an hour or two past dark, like right in the evening, yeah, it's probably best to chase them in the evening during that October lull on a cold front. But when you get bucks moving between 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., and they're just right there before that morning sunlight rises, wait and just hunt them in the morning on that cold front. And that is exactly what happened this morning. All three of the bucks I had on camera here were moving between those hours, and the first buck that showed up this morning was the 8-pointer that I was dead set on wanting to shoot, but had the other ones walk by, I'd have shot them too, but got the bigger one of the three, and I am tickled to death. We haven't even found him, but I know that deer did not go far. He was wobbling when he got out to about 40 yards from where I shot him. So as soon as Nick gets down here, we'll get on the blood trail and see if we can find my buck. Like wielded? I saw it was like right now it was here before you started to come down making some blood. I didn't see any, but oh, here you go. Yeah, here you go. It's not a lot. Sweet. Right here on the log. With some hair. Oh yeah. So we go left or we go right? I think he went right the way that I'm not seeing any blood this way. I mean, it's also like, this is really hard to tell. Oh shit, dude, my buck's right here. Dude, I got him, he's right here. Heck yeah, son. Oh. Dude, I smoked him. I mean, I toasted him. That's the exit wound. Good 3.5-year-old buck. Good 3.5-year-old buck. Heck yeah. All right, guys, well, here is my 2020 archery buck for Ohio. I cannot believe, I have said this about 1,000 times since we got to the top of the hill, how quick this season ended. If you guys recall, last year was such a struggle for me between the public land and then coming out here in the late season and hunting deer that were insanely pressured throughout the season. And it was tough, because when you take a camera and you have to draw a bow back and there's a lot going on in the stand, it's just, whitetails will pick you out left and right. And this year I got quite a bit of a head start. The landowners, I couldn't be any more thankful for them letting me come out here and do this, but I got permission pretty early this year and got everything set up during the springtime and summer. And so when I got, when the season opened up, everything was just
ready to go. We had quite a few deer on camera this year, but the season opens up here in Ohio a little bit later than Kentucky, so I wasn't used to that. And when the season opened up here in early October, late September, I didn't have anything on camera during daylight hours, so I had to wait for these fronts, and this is literally my second time hunting. I came out here last night and hunted, ran into a little bit of a situation with the neighbors, but decided to come back out here last minute this morning, and it definitely paid off and worked out in my favor. One thing I said when I got out of the stand during cold fronts when you're hunting the October lull, if you're getting pictures of bucks between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., a lot of the times once you get that cold front, that deer's probably going to move in the early morning at like 8 or 9 in the morning, and that's dead on when this buck came down the hill. And actually a new buck showed up this morning that I had never seen before, and I almost lost my opportunity because while he was making a scrape, I tried to show that and he busted me, and I thought he was about to blow, and I ended up pushing the camera back down quick enough, and I was able to draw back, and I put a excellent shot on this buck. And I'm very proud because this is definitely the biggest one I've had on camera out here, and I'm very happy to take a 3.5-year-old 8-pointer for my first Ohio archery buck. I mean, this is a stud. So thanks again, Mr. and Mrs. Ward, and now it is on to Kentucky.